Welcome to episode 8 of the Going Mach 5 podcast.
Going Mach 5. Mach 5. Piece it out. Thinking flicker. Thinking flicker.
Just can't help us.
Mach 5. Going Mach 5. Mach 5. Mach 5. Mach 5.
It's gonna be Saturday.
Christopher Knotts.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm great.
Okay. Thank you for doing this.
No problem.
I
I'm
appreciate
excited.
it. We finally made it happen because there were some doubts as to whether or not we were going to make it happen because you're a very busy person.
Me?
Yeah, you're the busiest.
I'm the busiest.
You're the busiest, man. You got a lot going on, man.
Okay.
How's everything been?
It's been good. That's what those costs are. I really thought those costs were just for like decoration.
No. They were for decoration until I became an adult and said, you have to use them for something. And I'm like, oh shit, what do you use coasters for? And when you want to protect your furniture that you bought, I'm sorry, Mom, for never caring about your furniture until I bought my own. I get it now. Anyway, so what's new, man? What's going on?
Quite a few things.
Like what?
Okay, so first things first, me and a friend started another company outside of my other company. Okay. And it's basically valet trash.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Do you do it for apartment complexes or who do you do it for?
That's what that's what we're starting with.
Okay.
But we just got onto the City of Atlanta vendor side of things. So we can do services for the City of Atlanta now. Because believe it or not, the City of Atlanta contracts out all their shit.
Really?
Like agriculture, watershed. Watershed is a big thing apparently. And it's really, really, they pay a lot for watershed projects. Yeah.
Okay. So you have that going on. Mm-hmm. Now, when you say a friend, what are we talking about here?
The same friend that I work with now for an apartment complexes. We help those disadvantaged people with credit problems get into apartments.
Disadvantaged people with credit problems. So black people who couldn't take care of their credit.
Hey, we have some Caucasians, some Indians, some Latinos.
You have some. You have some. Now, I'm going to switch gears for a second.
Okay.
Dwyane Wade's son.
Okay.
All right. What is your take on this whole situation? If you even have one, what is your take on the whole situation?
You know what? Okay, so I'm here for his support.
Of course.
I really am. And the issue is a lot of people do not understand his support because they never had to face it head on that way.
Most people don't even have custody of their own kids, but they're worried about Dwyane Wade and his family. But continue, please.
Listen, I'm on Facebook all the time. I really don't do like Twitter and Instagram or whatever.
Don't. It's awful.
Apparently that's where everything has gone down at.
It's a terrible, terrible place.
Well, I believe you. That's why I stay away from it. But yeah, so I'm here for it. The issue is that people do not understand what it is that he is trying to get people to see. Right. The first thing that people think of when someone is transitioning, they think of the surgery.
Right.
And that is just the most asinine thing I could ever do.
It's ignorant.
It's ignorant as fuck.
No, they're ignorant. That's ignorant.
It's very ignorant. It really is.
It's ignorant as fuck. And I'm like, okay, so the first thing you think about when someone wants to do something different is snip, snip, tuck, tuck.
Right. That's what people think. People who don't have, people who lack perspective, that's what they think.
But see, that's where everybody is going. They're thinking, oh, well, he's too young for the surgery and this, that. Who said anything about the surgery?
Nobody did. And Chris, here's the thing. And I'm going to look at you when I say this, but I'm also going to look at the camera. I think what has to be understood is when you get to the precipice of things, Dwyane Wade as a father is supporting his child. That's it.
That's it.
Now, if you don't like it, because you know how black people are with their religion, if you don't like it, there's nothing about transgender people in the Bible. But if you don't like it, that's on you.
It's going to be in the Bible in a couple of years.
Yeah,
it's going to find its way.
Right. But I think what has to be understood more than anything is that he is a father that is supporting his child.
Yes.
And the biggest takeaway from this is that I'm not in Dwyane Wade's family. My opinion of this does not
fucking matter.
It doesn't. And your opinion of this doesn't matter either. So the fact of the matter is a father supporting his son or his daughter, whatever you want to go with, wherever you want to go with the pronoun. And that's not a pronoun, but you get what I'm saying. Where I think people fuck up is you have this, social media has made it such that people think that their opinion is the end all be all.
Yeah.
People are making response videos. Dwyane Wade is never going to see your response video.
Even if he does, he's not going to care.
He doesn't care about your response video.
He's already made up in his mind where his support lies and his heart lies.
But here's the thing, and this is what I want to know, and I'm sincerely asking this question to you or to anyone else who might oppose what Dwyane Wade is supporting. What would you have him do? Do you want him to disown his child?
And that's not what people are, they're not thinking critically about this.
No.
So any event that, let's say, in theory, he did not support his child. Okay, there's a few things that could happen.
Right.
And self-hate,
Right.
internalized hate for the body, suicide or attempts at suicide, and just depression.
Yeah.
Those things coupled into one growing individual that's still young, that really doesn't have much idea of who it is that she wants to become or whatever.
Right.
It's just a lot to take on. The fact that he actually supports his child this early on, because I don't know if you know, but he said he had to really deal with that a long time ago.
In his documentary, he said it.
Right. Yeah. And with him and Gabrielle. And she was the big motivating factor in him getting over his, I guess I would call it his homophobia.
Yeah. Or here's the thing. With Dwyane Wade playing a macho sport like basketball and being black, because the fact of the matter is our culture still has issues with gay culture, trans culture, LGBTQ, XYZ, LMNOP. It's so many letters nowadays.
Anything they want to say. Well, it's not that many. It's what?
LGBTQ.
There's another A, plus.
You would know better. You would know better than I would. I don't fucking know. I'm an ally. That's all I know.
Oh, but, I mean, it's inclusive. So that's what the whole
and you
thing
use
is.
a very interesting word right there, because I love the fact, and I can say this because I'm black, I love the fact that our people are always so big on inclusiveness and inclusion, except when it's something we don't understand, except when it's something that we don't get. I
think we understand it. I think we just don't want to accept it.
No, I think you're absolutely right. I think it's a case where if I had a son who said, "Dad, I don't feel like I'm who I'm supposed to be," then we're going to have a dialogue about that, because there's a balance between you're young and you don't know who the hell you are yet. And, I'm with you. I support you, whatever you want to do, because that is a delicate thing, because you have to make sure, is this a phase? If I'm a father talking to a son, I have to make sure, is this like a phase? Like, is this you being trendy? Like, what is this?
Most of the times, okay, so.
And just for the record, you are gay.
I am.
Okay. If people haven't been able to tell that by now.
Unfortunately, I'm not heterosexual.
Okay.
Sorry. And I will say, sometimes people will say, well, it's phase. Okay. I will say, and I don't want to be subjective or generalize here. Right. But 95%, between 95 and 98% of the time, if you do not identify as heterosexual, or when you were, at least when I was coming up, when I was coming up, I knew I was not straight or heterosexual.
You knew it was something different.
I knew it was something completely different from my brothers and my sisters and everybody in the family. And so, it was never a phase. So the time when it actually came for me to just accept that, it was, liberating.
Was it difficult for your family to adjust to that?
Oh, yes. I mean, when I say really difficult, this is going to be funny. Okay. So this is how they found out about it. I didn't tell them. It happened. So, okay. I was at the library And
You mean like where you read books library?
yes,
It's not
the public
club.
library.
Okay. Go ahead.
No, that's not a good
Oh
thing.
shit! I don't know. You might have been on the dance floor. And
No.
Your uncle might have walked in like, "What the fuck, Chris?"
Nah, you have to tell my uncle. I don't actually have one surviving uncle. Actually, I have one uncle, just in general. On my father's side. Anyway, so I'm from Charlotte, North Carolina. Very small town to me. Everybody else think it's like the biggest thing. Oh, it's the next Atlanta. No, it's not. Anyway, so I was at the library, the public library, the main branch, which is in downtown Charlotte or uptown Charlotte, because I don't have a downtown. And so I was on the internet checking my email. Okay. And this is back when, what was this? Windows, was it 95?
What the fuck? How
Yeah.
old are you, Chris? You know what? You don't have to say. Go ahead.
Anyway, so yeah, I was checking my email and I clicked on this one email that had a completely different subject line from what was in the whole body of the email. Now, mind you, this is in a time when, you know, gay porn was still, or just porn in general, was kind of new to the internet. So you would get like 15-second and 30-second clips, not a whole.
It was a new sensation.
Yeah, it was a new sensation. It was
And
like,
there was no X videos. There was no Pornhub.
nothing like that.
People were
Like,
still paying for porn back then from TV.
from TV, and you couldn't even really order CDs of porn from off the internet.
Wow.
You could order magazines. Of course, they would come in
what
their
a
little
time to
black
be
thing.
alive.
I know, right?
Yeah, it would be in the black sleeve.
Yes.
I would see him in the gas station and be like, "Oh, what are those?" And I'm just dumb as fuck, and I don't know. Like, yo, it's some porn, dog. Like,
Right.
some chick is spread eagle on the cover.
You know what? I actually went into a gas station that had porn in the gas station. I think it was one here in Atlanta. I don't even remember where it was at. But and they didn't even have it. They don't care these days. They don't even have it in the black sleeve anymore. It's just in a clear
Nah,
plastic.
because you could open your phone and pull it up on Twitter.
Yeah. So I guess that
I
makes
want to see a
sense.
woman naked. I'll go to her Instagram.
True.
I don't have to be
Or Twitter.
I don't have to. Yes, I don't have to finesse. I don't have to be charming, even though I can't help it. I can't even bother myself to even try to maneuver around it. Hey, you should send me a picture. Blah, blah. I don't have to do that shit. And when I go to your Instagram, there's your ass bent over in a thong.
They willingly do
Success.
it these
Yes.
days, even with Just for Feds. Have you ever heard about that?
Yes, I have. And they call themselves models, which is adorable.
You know what? Oh my God. There's a story for that too. When I was in the club Thursday. But anyway, back to the story at hand. You know, you always love my stories because they're so long.
For the record, I'm not judging. If you have an OnlyFans, I'm not judging you to get your money. If your ass is bent over in a thong on Instagram, I'm not judging. Do your thing. Like, if that's your thing, do your thing. It is what it is. Please continue.
Okay. So I opened up this email and the first thing that popped up after it slowly loaded, of course, because I still didn't know what the hell.
56K.
Yeah. I
modem.
still didn't know what the hell it was. And plus we were on the public internet.
Okay.
So it loaded and I noticed it was porn. So I hurried and clicked out of it. Apparently, before it even loaded, the public library had some kind of system that already automatically detect
Like,
whatever.
will flag it.
Yes, that will flag
intercept
it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I clicked out of it, didn't think it was caught, didn't even know they actually kind of looked at that shit.
Right.
So continually, you know, surfing the internet until my time was up. Because I think you got an hour and like 40 minutes.
Those were the days, man.
Right.
You had to sign up for it.
Yeah, sign up. And if you wanted to more extra time, you would have to click the button and see if you could get more extra time based off the many people that was waiting.
So fucking stupid.
Yeah. Man, the internet came a long way.
Yeah.
So,
it really has, yeah.
and PC. Anyway, so
I'm an Apple guy now. I wouldn't even know
I
anything
am
about
too.
that.
You know what? Actually, you know what? Crazy thing is, I got a PC at my apartment complex.
Really?
For printing, and I tried to use. I was like, "How the fuck do you use this damn thing?"
You know how
And they have a Mac right beside
you know how I
it.
talk to people who have Androids.
Yeah, you people.
You poor people.
Anyway,
Ugh, poor. Don't touch me. I don't want your dirt to rub off, you proletariat. You peasant. Get out
you
of
can
here.
always eat apples, but you cannot eat metal parts.
Oh my God. Just disgusting.
Anyway, so I'm leaving after my time was up.
We need another plague.
another plague? We got one, coronavirus.
No, but we need one that targets just Android users.
Oh God.
Ignore my foolishness, man.
They did have one. When the Android would burst into flames in your pocket.
Some fanboy is going to comment on this. Not now, because nobody listens to this now. But some fanboy is going to comment on this and be like, you fucking nigger. Apple's trash. Android is the future. MAGA, MAGA, MAGA.
America.
Anyway, please continue.
Okay. I can't with your little... I can't.
I got a bunch of things queued up right here.
I see. Like... Okay, so not America. So I'm going upstairs while I'm heading out of the downstairs area to go upstairs. And I see there's this guy on the phone, but see, he's talking on the phone. He's watching me as I'm walking by. And mind you, I had only seen that email early in the time that I was on the computer. So I didn't pay any, I completely forgot about it at the time.
Okay.
So I'm walking upstairs and there's a woman that's at the top of the stairs and she kind of walks the other way as she see me coming. So I'm thinking, maybe she decided to change her mind. She's going to take the elevator because those stairs were pretty long.
Okay.
So anyway, I'm heading towards the little turnstile and the woman that was dodging the stairs says, "Are you Mr. Knotts?" Yes. And all of a sudden I turn around and there's like a security guard standing there. And I'm looking like, oh, fuck you, back up. So he's like, "Hey, I'm gonna need for you to cover me, sir." And I'm like, why? I didn't do anything. So anyway, we get into this little security office, which I didn't realize that's what that was. All the time that I've been going there for years, didn't know that little area was just for security. So he shows me the email that I completely forgot about that had the softcore porn on it or the picture of a guy. Okay. And I was like...
What kind of picture are we talking about?
It was just a picture of a guy in a full frontal in his birthday suit.
Was he...
He was erect.
Okay.
Yes.
I'm glad you knew what I was asking. Was he ready to go, or was it?
He was ready for war. Okay. Yes.
Wow.
So, I completely have forgotten it.
He was ready for war. I like that.
And
okay.
so
I'm gonna use that from now on.
He was ready for war.
He was ready for. I'm ready for war, baby. Like women might like to hear that.
They might. I don't
continue,
know.
Continue, please.
So, he shows me the picture, and I'm like, I'm like, how did you? And he was like, well, it flags it beforehand. And he was like, unfortunately, I can't. Now, if I would have seen it and brought you in here, I would have just let you go with a warning. He was like, however, it was flagged downstairs and they sent it up here and it kind of circulated. I was like, circulated? What do you mean? Like, people know me here. I'm like kind of famous. So
Jesus Christ, Chris.
So he was like, well, a couple of people have seen it. And unfortunately, we're going to have to ban you from this location for a year. So I was banned from the public library for a year. And they called my parents because I was underage. At the time, I think I was 16.
Okay. So that's how your parents found out that you were outed.
By security at the public library.
And you weren't ready to come out yet.
No, I wasn't.
Wow.
It was kind of, it was humiliating at the same time, but I was like, well, fuck it. We're here now. So what's up?
I'm happy that your story, I'm assuming that your story has a happier ending than a lot of gay people who have been outed before they were ready. There's a Reddit thread that they've turned into an audio, and it's on YouTube, where it was people who are gay of Reddit. What's the story of you being outed before you were ready? And there are some heartbreaking fucking stories.
You had to send that to me because I like reading those stories.
Matter of fact, we can listen to a few of them. Let's see if I can pull it up. Because I don't have it in my favorites.
Well, to go on with the story, so I get home, when my stepfather picks me up, because I was hoping my mom would pick me up, because me and my stepfather really never got along, and that's a reason why we really never got along. And I'll talk about that a few minutes later. So we're driving home, and he's like quiet. Like, I've never seen this man quiet at all. Like, he's army strong or go home. Like, that's the kind of man he is because he was in the army.
Okay.
So he was quiet as a fucking mouse. Like, you would have thought maybe, I don't know, he was enlightened at some point in time. So we get home. We go our separate ways and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And later on that night when my mom come home, because she was a bus driver at the time, she and him and her called me into their room. So I walk into their room and they're like, well, close the door behind me. Close the door behind you. And I thought, like, I'm going to get an ass whooping or something.
Right.
So at that time I was too old for it. They stopped it a long time ago. But I mean, at that point in time, I still didn't know. So anyway, so the first question was, so you gay now? That was out of my stepfather's mouth. And I was like,
that is a black family's, so you gay now. That is a black family's way of approaching it. I have gay white friends who said that their parents either were accepting or not accepting, but the way they formed it was always either aggression or it was like, okay, let's sit and talk about this. But black people was like, oh, so you gay now.
That's the automatic. Yeah. And it's like, what do you mean? Huh? What do you mean? So I'm gay now? No, I kind of been gay. You just finding out about it.
Yep.
So you straight now? Is that what it is?
That's real. I like that.
So, then it went from that to, do you even know what being gay means? And I'm like, okay, I think I have more of a grasp of what being gay means than you kind of, know. So, mind you, these are questions coming from my stepfather.
Okay.
Are you gay now? Do you know what it means? And then the ultimate question. So you're getting fucked?
Yeah, that's the question. That a man is going to ask his stepson, have you had sex with another man? Any type of intercourse?
Yeah.
Have you sucked a dick before?
Yeah, that's all he wanted to know.
That's wild.
It's crazy. My mom was much more understanding.
Of course.
The
mother typically is,
because she already knows.
Yeah, she has a sixth sense for it, but also unless she's like super like religious, like and super like, and not just religious. It's cool to be religious if you're religious. Whatever helps you be a better person to your fellow man, I think that's great. But if you use religion as a way to judge people, that's when I don't fuck with that shit.
Yeah,
like, you can fuck off with that. But so yeah, typically the mother is, and the father is more like, the machismo, the the manly man, like as you described him, before.
Very much so that.
So he wanted. So how do you handle this line of questioning?
So when he was asking me those questions, it kind of confused me because I'm like, because he was asking like kind of pretty fast.
Right.
So it was almost like, so I'm supposed to respond to any of these, or
are they rhetorical?
Right. Anyway, so when he said, so you gay now, it was almost like I kind of did a look like, and I was like, yes. And then the other line of questions just came right back to back. And so my mom was like, well, I kind of already knew. It's kind of been new for a while. And she went into the whole, your mom knows before anybody else knows, and blase, blase, which, I mean, makes sense.
Yeah.
But I think the end of that line of questioning was just because of the fact that he found out, well, he didn't find out. He has been dealing with his actual biological son. His second oldest son was gay. Since passed away now. But I think he was scared that I would turn out like how he turned out, because he started doing drag.
Oh, so he didn't want. This is one thing I don't like about the perception of homosexuality. And I've done a deep dive on like the new To Catch a Predator-ish YouTube videos where guys pretend they get on Grindr and they pretend to be young boys. In the 1920s, sometimes definitely much older, try to meet up with the 13, 14-year-old boys. And then they confront them and then they antagonize the guy. Now, obviously he's gay. He wanted to meet, a boy, but they antagonize him in a way that couples homosexuality with perversion.
Yes, and that's why a lot of people.
I don't like that at all.
That's why a lot of people are against it, because that's what they internalize and conceptualize homosexuality.
Of course, I think here's the way my brain works when it comes to people who are trans, people who are gay, who are queer, who are bi, who are whatever. Mm-hmm. I don't form an opinion. I don't care.
Right.
I don't care. Like, that's what quote unquote outrages me with like Dwyane Wade's son situation. It's like, I don't care from how I live. Mm-hmm. I don't form an opinion on another man and his child and how he chooses to parent. That's it. So when people say, oh, you support Dwyane Wade's son, I don't. So you don't support Dwyane Wade's son, I don't. It's neither. I have no opinion of it.
Right.
Like, I think as a person, I would support. I don't have an opinion on Dwyane Wade's son as an adult because he's not an adult. Mm-hmm. He is a child. As such, I need to look at the parents.
Right.
And like, it's almost like I give any child a pass for like things that they might do, like in terms of their behavior. And I don't say pass, but it's like, I don't look at them immediately. I look at the parents. And what I see is Dwyane Wade is supporting his child. Mm-hmm. That's it. And now if you don't like that.
I forgot that I was going to be telling you about this online spat it's not an online spat, kind of sort of, that I got into about with the topic at hand.
Really? Mm-hmm. See, the issue that I find that's plaguing us is that people love to gravitate towards allowing their voices to be heard. And I think it's great when you allow your voice to be heard if there's something to come from it. I say this all the time. Shutting the fuck up is free.
Very much so.
It costs you absolutely nothing. Like this idea that, well, I have this opinion and I have this thought and I need to get on Twitter and do and let people know about it. And then here's the other thing. You say some old ignorant shit. Let's just say hypothetically, left, right, conservative, liberal, whatever. Mm-hmm. You say something that is polarizing and that is controversial. Mm-hmm. When you open up that can of worms, you got to be ready for the dirt that comes with it.
You got to be ready for the flat.
Like you can't say outright. That's the thing that comes with you sharing your opinion. You can't play the victim after that. Mm-mm. It's just like when Colin Kaepernick started kneeling for the anthem in the very beginning, and I think it was Tony Stewart, and I can't remember if it was Kate Upton or there's another Kate that I can't remember, but they commented right away, like right away, and said, Colin Kaepernick, you idiot. You know, you have no idea what police go through and blah, 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 before they had full context. Right. Literally 3 or 4 days later, another black man was shot and killed by the police with his arms up. Mm-hmm. And I remember Jamel Hill on ESPN was like, nah, y'all tweeted then. You're in the conversation. Yeah. Now tweet about this.
Can't deny it now.
Like, you wanted to just have a voice and just say something with your platform without context. People do that all the time.
All the time.
But I think people think that their opinion matters more than it does. Like, I know my opinion doesn't mean shit. Mm-hmm. Like, whenever I have a young lady, if I'm dating a young lady and she says, Rashad, how does my hair look? I'm like, what do you think?
What do you think?
My opinion doesn't fucking matter. Like, you make the hairstyle. It doesn't make you. Like, if a woman asks me, hey, should I cut my hair short? Do you want to? I'm an awful person to ask that question to.
You know who do that is like, not motivational speakers. I went to school for that. I had a course on that. Life coaches.
Yeah.
They do that.
I do that when people ask me, when my friends ask me for advice on things, I never give like my full on opinion about it. I'll say, well, because my priorities might be different than yours. Mm-hmm. So I say, well, what do you think? Because I'll ask you the proper questions maybe you're not asking yourself.
Well, what if they're genuinely wanting your opinion?
At which point I'll give them my opinion. Like if they say, what should I do in this situation? And then I would say, well, what's your end game? And if they say, well, I want to XYZ or I don't want to XYZ, I say, okay, well, here's how you head towards that. Mm-hmm. Sometimes people don't know how to ask themselves those questions to get to that point B. And it can be very difficult because it happens to me all the time. That's why I have a therapist.
That's what life coaches are actually for.
Yeah. And I think there are some frauds out there, and I think there are people who are really good at it. Because I think sometimes people make it too convoluted. Mm-hmm. Like life is simple, man. Like the things I love, I keep them very close to me. Mm-hmm. The things I don't love, keep them far, far away. That's it. That's it. The best thing I ever did was fall in love with myself. That's the absolute best thing because I know how to. It trickles down to my personal life and my professional life.
Mm-hmm.
Like I fall in love with me so that I can spread love to everybody else.
Right.
And I can, do my best to try and be the best person I can be. So for my future relationships, whether they be personal, friendships, whoever I marry eventually, so they can work out that way. But I still go back to ultimately telling people, I know that my opinion doesn't matter. Like somebody asked me, hey, what do you think about Dwyane Wade's son? And I said, well, what about him? So, he identifies as she now. And I said, what does Dwyane Wade think? Well, apparently he's on board with it.
Apparently it's not apparently.
Right.
It's just he fucking is.
I was like, oh, okay. So anyway, what are we doing today? Because that's the end. My mental capacity doesn't go past that.
Right.
And this sounds arrogant, but this is legitimately how I feel. And I'm not sorry for this. Mm-hmm. When I hear people form opinions about what other people do on a consistent basis to the point where they're so, and they think their opinion matters. Here's the difference. I know my opinion doesn't matter to other people. So when I get on this podcast and I talk some shit, I know, okay, who gives a fuck? Right. Because you should look at me and say, fuck off. I don't care about your opinion. That's what you should do. If you agree, cool. If you don't, that's cool too. But the problem I run into is that people will do that. And I'll look at them and say, so this gets mental capacity from you. This is a part of your day. You took time to form this opinion. That's cool. That's why you're going to work for me one day.
Period.
You will be an employee of mine one day. And you will work for me until you're 65 and then you will die.
Okay.
That's what's going to happen. Because you operate on this wavelength.
Yeah.
Was it small minds discuss people?
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah.
Or as another saying go, hawks do not care for the livelihood of what hens do on the ground.
That's real shit. I don't care nothing about what Dwyane Wade. Listen, what it comes down to for me is, like I said, Dwyane Wade is supporting his child. And that's what you're supposed to do. If I had a son and he said, Dad, I identify as a woman, depends on how old he is, I would have to have a conversation with him because I want to understand, not talk him out of it, but I need to understand as a father. So how can I parent you better? How can I support you in your future endeavors better? How can I support you during this time better as a man? Because I haven't had to deal with that.
Right.
But it's not going to be something where do I disown him? Do I beat it out of him or some other goofy, ignorant shit like that? Like, what the fuck? Dwyane Wade doesn't care about your opinion and nobody else does. So fuck off. So
this ties into what I was talking about earlier about I had kind of gotten into it about this topic on Facebook. Mm-hmm. Okay, this individual, I'm trying to get through her stories. Okay, so I can show you her picture. Okay. She's transgender.
I can tell.
Okay. So she also have been in the news.
Is that a filter on that picture too? Or did she just put a bunch of makeup in a shotgun and just blow her head off?
No, I don't know if this is filtered.
It's filtered. Let's keep moving.
I don't know. I don't filter any of my pictures.
Not everyone can be cute like you, Chris.
What?
Not everyone can be just ready to go.
I think this is just makeup and she got on bronzer. I think that, yeah.
I don't know, man. That looks like a filter.
Well, this is a filter.
Well, of course, that's a filter. Was it sepia? That's a sepia filter. I think that's a filter, man.
No. Well, of course, this is a professional picture. No, it could be the makeup.
Okay, maybe it's the makeup.
The contour. But anyway, she is important because there was a story about the transgenders or the guys at the time who was transitioning that went to Morehouse.
Right.
You ever heard of that?
Of course. This
is one of the girls from that whole story, that whole thing. She was at the epicenter of it. Now she does PR. She graduated from Morehouse, actually.
Of course.
And she went on to other schools. Now she does PR. She does it apparently very well. She has pretty big names as her clients.
Can she get me verified on Twitter?
She probably fucking can.
Okay, well, I'm going to need that contact information because I need a good publicist.
She's really good.
Get me verified on Twitter and Instagram. I'll pay your rate, whatever it is.
She's really good. Okay, so...
Sensational.
Anyway, go ahead.
I've never heard these on the other podcasts. These new.
These are new.
I can tell.
Everything has been overhauled, my friend.
Okay, so she reposted something that someone has, and someone had posted. You know, Boosie was very voiceful about this whole transition thing. And so even though he paid a prostitute to give his underage child fellatio.
Of course.
She says, she captioned it, "It took me 30 years to see an example of what unconditional love looks like, and I'm forever spiritually indebted to D. Wade for his ability to separate fact from fiction." So she captioned that with the post of some guy named Ron. It says, "People are agreeing with Boosie because of proximity. They know a Boosie, they love a Boosie, they are surrounded by Boosies. Most don't know a Wade. They've never been adjacent to a Wade, they've never loved with conditions, and thus love others conditionally. So seeing a Wade researching and asking questions to better understand their child seems foreign. Listening to a child articulate who they are is unheard of. See a Boosie would abandon, beat, pray away their child's being. People can relate to that. To love, that's conditional. But a Wade, a person who advocates for their child, who facilitates and supports their child in a healthy way, who's not ashamed of their child, well, that's the love we all deserve from our parents, but don't often get." So I commented and I said, "Woo, that was a sermon." Now someone else commented, and this is the person that we're talking about. This individual says, "I agree with D. Wade for support his child and accepting who the child is, ... I just think he is way too young to make a decision to become transgender, ... That should be made as an adult, period. We don't let our children make those decisions we feel are meant to be by adults, ... This one I just can't agree with." So I said and comment to him, this is a day ago.
Wait, before you say your comment, let me try to guess where you're going to go with that next. And you can tell me if I'm right or wrong.
Okay.
When people say make the decision to become transgender, are they assuming, like we talked about before, that they're talking about the surgery? Not who they identify? Okay, go ahead, please.
Okay. So I responded, I said, "I'm not really understanding your comment. On one hand, you praise him for supporting his child, and on the other, you say the child needs to wait until they're an adult. So if he's supporting his child, wouldn't telling said boy or girl to wait until adulthood be the exact opposite of support?" I said, "It's exactly like saying you support them, but I'm not going to understand your choice until you're of age to make that decision as an adult. It's basically removing yourself as a supportive party, but still trying to come off as supportive. Two-faced is a better expression." So he says, he took my comment personally.
I bet he did. Hit dogs holler, bro.
He took it very personally. And the crazy thing is, I wasn't even... Okay. That comment, anyway.
Let me ask you, was his response to that like almost a paragraph?
Oh, yes, it was.
Okay.
It says...
Hold on, let me see. Let me show this. They can't even see that.
They can't even see it.
I don't know if you can.
Wait, I can turn the brightness down.
Yeah.
Let's see if it
people
makes
can see that.
Oh, wait, I'm turning the brightness down. Okay. Can I see that?
Can they see that?
I can't see it from here.
I can see it now.
You can see it now?
See that big ass block?
That's a whole paragraph.
That motherfucker lost it.
He was mad.
Yeah, he mad
Big
as
mad.
fuck. He mad as fuck. Okay, go ahead.
So he says, Chris Knotts, you're actually wrong. Ain't shit two-faced about me, and you can confirm that with Chanel Hudson. That's where he took it personally at when I wasn't even really talking to him. Anyway, he says, I only think that being so young, you may not actually be so sure what you want. Transitions from one sex to another is a decision I feel an adult should make no matter how they feel inside. It could play out that he regrets that decision one day, not because of people being unsupportive or treating him differently, but because he was a child and did not know that he actually wanted this. Do you see that he's just throwing out the pronouns.
Right.
It's not even making anyway.
Right.
Feel how you like, but don't come in here calling a person two-faced because I simply expressed my opinion. All the while, I'm supportive of people being who they truly are
No, you're not.
and do not discriminate
No, you're not.
against anyone. Pardon that you didn't understand the true nature of my comment. It's simply a matter of me not finding it acceptable at his age. That was the first comment that he put underneath that. He puts another comment underneath that.
Here's the thing: not finding it. I get what he's trying to say. I get no, I don't get what he's trying to say. But I kind of get where he's leaning towards.
He goes on.
He's trying to say you're a kid, blah blah blah. Go ahead, please.
He goes on to say, also, and this is the comment underneath that long comment. Also, if you didn't notice, I'm not one of those bashers or disrespectful people claiming he needs to try his best to make his son straight or disown him.
Right.
Blah, blah, blah. D. Wade is a man and can raise his children however he chooses. I just think he is too young to make a decision. So I commented. And my comment, where's my comment at? Okay, here we go.
You're proud of this.
Yes, because so I commented because when I seen him post, I read that's what I seen.
That long, yeah.
Yeah. And so I didn't realize that the original person who actually, her actual post, the comment, she actually commented underneath him.
Okay.
But I seen only his's. So I went to responding line by line because that's how I respond to shit.
Oh goodness.
So I said, clearly you took that personally, when if you actually comprehended my comment, you would have noticed why I elevated my point that singled out Wade's levels of support in a hypothetical situation. I.e., so if he's supporting his child, which is what I put in my original comment. So if he's supporting his child, along with the rest of the comment, it's okay. I understand sometimes we get passionate and misinterpret things. Honestly, I do. Before you reply,
You're so fucking condescending.
you might want to read to understand next time.
You're a condescending piece of shit.
I said, furthermore, transitioning is a big decision, one that I'm sure that Zaya isn't taking lightly. But moreover, who said that she was going for gender reassignment surgery?
Thank you. It's a whole different
Like, have you never heard of cross-dressers? The first thing people think of when they hear of someone taking the steps to transition is nip tuck. Why? Also, I recall that Chanel started hers at 12 years old. Some people start their transition really early because before puberty to actually help be better, for their body to help accept the hormones faster. If they take it before puberty, they don't have to start their whole testosterone reducing regimen or whatever it is. I don't know. I'm really not a transgender, so I can't really talk about the topic that much.
Because I think you and I may differ right there.
They started,
with our, because I've heard people who were parents of transgendered children and they're really young, and it's before they even hit puberty. I'm talking like 10, 11 years old. And they said that their child says, yo, I'm the opposite gender. And they will give their child drugs to hinder their puberty.
Right.
So that they don't.
Puberty blockers, I think that's what it's called. Or beta blockers.
And I've seen people who were champions of that movement say, well, no, if the child changes their mind later, it's enough time where you can take them off the drugs and they can still grow, which biologically is a lie. That's not true. Like they made that up to further their narrative that you can do that. That's a lie. Biologically, like factually, not my opinion, factually, that's not true.
What's not true? That they can't take them off?
Like, no, yeah. If you say, oh, well, you're 13, you're 14, we've hindered you enough, let's take you off, and then you'll be able to grow into the man that now you say you want to be now.
Oh, no. What I'm saying is that
I'm not saying you said that.
No, what I'm saying is that those that are transitioning start before puberty if they know they want to, so they sneak and get the drugs without their parent or guardian's consent. Right. And they start taking them beforehand, so it'll be easier when they do get older, that their body will be more accepting to the changes. That's what I'm saying.
Do you think that that's dangerous? I think it can be.
It can be, depending on how you're using the drugs and if you're using them correctly.
That's the biggest thing right there. Because if I had a son, and first of all, if I had a son and he was gay or trans or whatever, me personally, I'm a cisgender male.
For those that don't know, a cisgender male is one that identifies as a heterosexual male and who is still biologically male, born a male, still identifies as a male.
People will hear me say that and be like,
What the fuck is that?
I've heard people go, what the fuck, really?
They think you're kind of totally different.
I'm a cisgender male. I'm sorry. Mom, I'm a cisgender male. Can't help it.
I'm cisgender too.
Yes, there you go. But there are people who miss the point when it comes to. I think it's a delicate subject anytime you're talking about giving children drugs of any sort to block their natural puberty. And then on top of that, when you have a brain that is not fully able to grasp the concept of what they might be doing. Because I'll use a different example. And we got to wrap up in about 10 minutes.
10 minutes?
Yeah.
Time flies.
Yeah, for real. I'll use a different example. I had a homegirl. I won't say her name. She came to me and she said, she's in a relationship with a guy.
Okay.
She says, I think I want to have a threesome with, my boyfriend and another girl.
Oh, yeah. I think you told me this story.
Yes, I did. And she said, and I said to her, no, you don't. I said, I know you. No, you don't. She was like, no, I do. I said, no, you don't. I said, you're too possessive. You want to try to have sex with a woman. That's not the same thing. She was like, no, I want a woman in the bedroom with me and my boyfriend. I said, okay, that's different. But you're talking about have a threesome.
Yeah.
You want you
so
and
that
another
means she's
woman.
going to participate.
Right. So I said, no, that's not what you want. She was like, yeah, that's what I want. I said, okay. Time went by. She found a girl she was comfortable with. They get to doing it. And the boyfriend goes to go touch the other woman and she flips the fuck out.
I mean, that's how it always is.
It does not work. That whole she gets seething angry watching her boyfriend sleep with another woman. She gets violent. She gets mad. The woman gets thrown out, crying fits, this, that, and the other, storming out, whatever. So we talk later. I was like, so how'd that work out for you? She said, you were right. I said, yeah, because you thought you knew what you wanted until it became an actual reality.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, okay. That's not what I want. I think that is heightened more when you are a child because you might not know. I want to say this delicately or diplomatically. A child might not know exactly what they want. You might think you know. Like you knew that something was different about you when you were younger. I know a guy that when he was 5 years old, he knew I'm gay. The way other boys look at little girls, I look at little boys. He knew that.
Right.
And to this day, like, he is.
you try hard not to say his name, huh?
No, I'm not gonna say his name, but he is very, very, very gay.
Okay.
on the levels of, you could spot him from a mile away. Like,
That's why he's flamboyant.
very much so.
Okay.
He is flamboyant. He is glitter. I'm pretty sure there's glitter on him wherever he's at right now.
Glitter.
There's glitter
This is a glitter guy.
because of some shirt he was wearing that he made himself. Whatever. And I don't
Well,
judge
that's
people.
what I'm saying. Like some people, when you know, and that's why I'm going with this, when you know that you are different, even as a young age, you can actually, I won't say you can, I would just say that if you know at a very young age that this isn't the body for you,
Right.
you know what you want to do.
But what I say is make sure you, I don't want to say make sure you know, but be mindful that things can change. Like that age from, let's say 10 to 20 seems like only 10 years. That's a whole different animal. When I say make sure, don't do anything that's irreversible.
Right.
Like up until that point.
Okay, so I know
I
some.
don't say don't. Do what the fuck you want to do.
I know some people that decided that was going to transition to become in ballroom culture. This is way off topic, but in ballroom culture we call them femme queens.
Okay.
Or female figures because they portray themselves as women. They live their life as women and stuff like that. I know some people who have kind of went through, like when I mean transition, they started the hormone therapy and they did a whole bunch of other stuff, and they decided not to do it, to reverse it.
Right.
And the first thing you can remember, or the first thing you catch when those people stop, because they go and get their implants and they start modifying their body and they start putting in cheek injections. So that's the first thing you can look at is the cheeks. It's because those don't really come out. They're kind of in there. So, but they ended up changing their mind back. But usually it's when they're up in age that they do stuff like that, not when they're younger. Most of the time when you're younger and you start doing stuff like that, you kind of stick through it throughout the rest of your life. That's what I will say about it, because I know quite a few people, of course, because I am in the community.
Of course. So
most of the time that's what they do. They stick to it. Like me, I knew I was gay for a long time ago. I'm a gold star gay, meaning that I've never had sex with a female. Okay?
Gold, is that a term?
That is. You can Google it.
Gold star gay.
I'm a gold star gay.
You you are pure. You are.
If they want to put it in the Bible.
Are you levitating right now? Is that what's going on here?
I don't know. Do I have a golden aura on me?
I don't know, man. It's just like when Allen Iverson said that he saw Michael Jordan for the first time. He said he didn't even see him. He saw his aura.
No, I've read that.
Maybe there is an aura coming up. Maybe I'll put an aura in post so people could. I'm not gonna do that. It'll take too much time.
I want to see this thing about coming out story. I want to hear one story before we go. I will say that when you asked were they accepting, my mother was, my stepfather wasn't. He kind of, because we all the children slept in one room. We had a duplex house that really, it was crazy because it was a duplex house, but there was only 2 bedrooms. It could have been way more. Anyway, so he had me separated from all the other.
Really?
Yeah. I slept in the living room until I was like 17 and a half, and then I moved out. That's another story too, because that story is crazy.
It's a different animal.
Yeah. But anyway, he thought I was going to infect everybody else with the gay.
He thought the gay was like an airborne pathogen.
I guess he thought it was something
like this was
on touch or
The Walking Dead.
Right. You know,
okay.
I don't know.
Hopefully he's gotten better.
He has.
Well, that's good. That's a positive. Let's see some of these stories before you get out of here.
Homosexuals that were outed before you were ready to come out. What happened? How did you deal with the aftermath? My dad caught me looking at some naked dude pictures online when I was 17. I said I like wieners. Now you know. He thought I was joking, but came around a couple hours later and it was okay. This is just such a lovely little island of happy in quite a sea of ungood. I live in a frat, and they make a lot of gay jokes that while they didn't make me feel great, didn't feel at all actually hateful, just kinda crappy. Anyways, after a big round of exams we all went to the bars and I got blasted and began texting my friend who knew I was gay about the hottest guy I had ever seen. Something along the lines of I have found the reason I was made gay and it is this beautiful blonde man 3 tables down from me. I have seen him since when, not out of my mind, and he was still pretty hot. Thing is, I sent that to the house group me and not my little friend group's group me. I immediately panicked and watched in horror as the guys I were out with looked at their phones and then looked up to me. Much to my surprise, they all started to cheer for me and congratulate me on coming out. They were all super supportive and bought me drinks and even tried to get the guy to come over and talk to me. It was a really great night. I got wasted and cried with happiness and relief. It was then that you realized, this whole time you were part of a gay fraternity. When I was around 15, I came to terms with the fact that I was gay and confided in one of my best friends at the time. She was completely cool with it, as I knew she would be, but I still wasn't ready to come out to everyone else yet and asked her to keep it a secret. One day she got upset with me over something,
of course,
as teenage girls are wont to do, and out of spite she passed a note to another one of our friends telling him that I was a lesbian. I intercepted it, but at that point he knew something was up and I was basically forced into telling him. As it turns out, he was also gay and it was something that made us even closer. And now he'll be the man of honor at my wedding this year. Sometimes the fear is just in your own head and people can surprise you. Talk about a plan backfiring. Not me, but a friend was outed by, of all people, her therapist. She was 16 at the time. This dumbass therapist was convinced that since they were her parents they would learn to deal with it and love her anyway. Well, the friend's parents were immigrants in a culture religion that is not cool
Asians
with
are the worst.
lesbians. So after they were told, her parents start screaming at her in their language. So therapist can't even understand horrible things they're saying. She said she couldn't cope when her father essentially asked in the screams if she'd ever gone down on a woman. They proceeded to beat her
first
and
thing they wanna
emotionally
know,
abuse and
man.
isolate her from her friends and GF for the next few years. She struggled a lot but had a family friend who was also secretly gay and helped her as best she could. But when all that crap first happened, it was really bad. Oh my god, that's fricked up. I don't know where this happened, but I thought it was illegal for a therapist to disclose that kind of information, even if the patient is a minor. I hope your friend is doing better now. I was caught kissing my best friend by my music teacher at school, who was incidentally my ex-boyfriend's mother. She called my parents and outed me. What a prick. I don't think it would have been her job to call your parents.
No.
I was outed as B on FB by a girl I went on a date with. Just a random comment on my status referring to our date. I told her what she'd done. She already knew I wasn't out because I didn't see the point as I'm mostly straight, and she apologized. She did it again 2 weeks later. Anyone who snitches about private things like that have no excuses. They're no way your friend. I found out one of my friends way back in elementary school was gay, but I never told anyone. I wouldn't tell anyone anything that could hurt the person who trusted me with that info. It would be flat out wrong. Not a white knight, just a guy trying his best not to be a life-ruining butthole.
All right.
I thought there was gonna be some horrible ones.
There are some. The video is 23 minutes long.
Oh yeah, that's only too
it's
long.
pretty long. I really didn't plan for this pod to just become a swirl around D Wade's son and transgender and being gay and being outed, etc. But that's what happens when you just converse naturally. Chris, what else you got, man? Before we head out of here.
This weather is crazy.
It is. It was a beautiful day today.
I'd stayed in all day.
Yeah, it's. I went to the gym, of course.
Of course.
And
I'm still gonna get that video of you dancing around in the gym.
if you were there today, you would have gotten it.
Wait, but you weren't the only one there, were you?
No, I don't care.
You don't care you dance around it?
Oh, man.
Oh, wow.
I don't care what people think about me.
I told him that I was going to get a video of him dancing around. It has to be when you're the only one in there, though, because it makes it that much better.
Well, I dance the same way. Like,
I don't care what kind of dance you do. It's just I want to see you in the moment by yourself when no one's in the gym at night.
Now, when no one's in there, I make more noise.
See, that's what I want. It's like I post it online.
Like, it's pretty absurd, and I'm a pretty ridiculous person, so that helps a lot. I usually sing along to the song, whatever it may be. I gyrate very ferociously. No, ferociously. It's very rhythmic. It's very melodic.
It's very rhythmic. It's to the song.
I mean, it's mesmerizing.
Imagine him gyrating.
It's mesmerizing. Actually.
I can't even imagine you gyrating.
No,
to
most
a
people
song.
can't because I tend to do it privately.
In the gym with everybody could see.
I wonder what they think when they look at the cameras.
If they look at the cameras.
Right. Because there are people who go in that gym just to sleep.
Really?
Yeah, they don't go in there to work out. It's a 24-hour gym. So I know they just go in there.
Where do they sleep at?
They sleep on a tanning bed. They can legitimately just sleep on it. It's comfortable as shit. If you're homeless, that is a great investment.
The tanning bed?
If you're homeless and you have let's say you ask for money and you end up getting $150. You pay for a gym membership for 18 months.
You know what? That's what someone said about Planet Fitness. You know, Planet Fitness have tenant bed.
Yeah.
But I think they have the ones where it's stand up, though. Some of them have the ones where it's stand up and some of them have the flat ones.
And see, I know with this one, you can lay down and nobody ever really uses it in there. So if you...
Unless you're Caucasian.
No, not even at mine. Like if you go in there, it might not even be a tanning bed. It might be like a massage bed. But either way, like it's comfortable. And whenever I go in there, I always look over.
There's someone to do?
Somebody sleeping in there. I don't care. Like I think that's great. Like if you're homeless, get it how you live. That's how you got to temporarily live. You can come in there. You can take a shower. You know, you can use the bathroom. You can sleep if you need to. Like, if that's what
Can
you
they
got,
leave their stuff in the lockers overnight?
they say you can't, but you always can.
Oh.
They always say take your locks off when you leave. No, they don't give a shit. They're
They
like,
have
locks
that
will be
at Planet
cut.
Fitness. Yeah, they have that same sign at
They're not
Planet
gonna fucking
Fitness.
cut anything. I don't believe that. They say don't put gym bags on the floor, but don't lock your lockers while you're working out. Like, it's stupid.
What?
It's very contradictory.
That's why I was like, what?
That's the reason I
Don't
don't-
put gym bags on the floor, but don't do what?
I just go in there, do my lifting or my running or my Stairmaster, whatever, and I keep it moving.
Stairmaster.
Yeah, you gotta switch up the cardio occasionally.
Okay.
Chris, thank you.
It's been real.
I appreciate
You
your
still
time.
have to play me in this game that you say you're going to beat me in.
Which game?
This is Injustice 2.
I'm gonna wreck you. Anyway, thank
He's
you.
going to die
Anyway,
trying
thank
to
you.
wreck me.
I appreciate you.
You're
Bro,
welcome.
Thank you for your time.
I
And,
enjoyed it.
That's it, man. There is no outro. We just stop.
I know.
That's it.